Hello and welcome to Floor Planner. My name is Bob, and as I always say, I'm here for you and I'm all about customer success. Today's video is a continuation of our series of update videos and overviews. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually on my dashboard currently, as you are when you log in at floorplanner.com. And I want to show you again, where are those updates listed as they keep coming out periodically. So as you're looking, you have your projects list, you have your exports list, and down here you have this list of icons that are showcasing all of the recent updates with your most current posted here on the left. If you want to see all of your updates, you can go ahead and select the latest updates tab right here and left click, and we'll go ahead and open up all of the latest updates. And we can keep going back in time. If you want to go back and review the updates from the past year, I would certainly encourage it because you can really go back and see maybe what you may have missed in the past. So let's just review what I'd like to talk about today. I think I've got there's about 6 different updates I want to just feature for you today. So we're going to talk about certainly the tilt objects and 3D tool, really awesome 3D handler where you can now tilt objects. It's an additional feature. And I want to talk about the credit transactions overview, looking back in your history as to where you've actually allocated your credits within your bank of credits, and where you've actually purchased or brought on board additional credits into your account. There's also a nice feature, we've all worked out there with using the cutaway walls feature in the 3D tools in our settings. And we've all applied different artwork and items to our walls. And in the past, you did your cutaway wall exercise and you still had those items in front of you and you wanted to get a clear shot of your actual floor. Now, your cutaway walls feature has your wall mounted items actually hidden when you're looking from the exterior into your target of your camera view. And yes, restore an old version of your plan. You've had the ability previously to work locally on this. Now you have a chain that you can actually look back into the saved history that is saved in Floor Planner's cloud. So you can actually go back to those previous dates and times and actually restore your project if you need to go back in time. And yes, Polish language has been added to the international languages that Floor Planner is now being presented in. I always like to try to say hello in the language, so let's try to see if I can get this right. Dzień dobry. That would be your basic good morning in Polish. The rest I'll leave up to the interpretation that's already stated out there. And I think that's about as far as I'm going to talk about the fact that, yes, it's exciting. We've got the Polish language added also to Floor Planner. And this will be a lot of fun. At the very end, we're going to go ahead and talk about a new feature. There's been some requests for this in the past, certainly, with adding doors and adding windows to your walls. You can now add round windows and arch windows. Actually, the openings themselves. And there's a library within your asset library now of multiple mullions, infills for those spaces to give you round windows with different divisions in them, and even different colors and material changes for those divisions, which are called mullions. So that's the quick overview of the 6 items I want to go ahead and discuss. And let's go ahead and get started and actually go to my dashboard. And here we are at my login at floorplanner.com and my dashboard. Now, as you're at your dashboard and you have your profile up here in the upper left-hand corner, and you see my profile, and you can go down to this new tab down here when we're talking about credit transactions overview. You can go ahead and click on this tab right here. It's really great within this information. You can see your percentage breakdown of how you've distributed your credits. And you can also see an itemized list of how those credits were deducted from your account. and also the date and how many credits there were. You can see all of your credit transactions. You can also see where your credits were added to your account and your bank of credits, and when it was and how many. And you could also segregate this down to maybe just looking at the level 2 upgrades and anytime you worked with your level 3 upgrades, and or even working with your level 4 upgrades. So all of that information is now available to you in a nice itemized way. Now I want to go ahead and talk about restoring old versions of your plan that are stored in the cloud at Floor Planner. So we have our project open. Now we want to go ahead and go to the multiple designs is actually where the history is going to be stored. And up here, upper left-hand corner, this first tab up here is where your design settings are. Let's go ahead and left click on here. And in here, we of course have our multiple designs, but you also have a list in here that includes a design history. So if you go ahead and click on design history, you'll see that you have in your current mode here, local saves right here. You have your current and saves that I've done recently. Yet if I want to go ahead and go further back in time, we can actually now go into the cloud. This is your new feature, and see your previous cloud saves. So you can go ahead and select one of these items and actually then restore it. If you want to go back in time and restore your project to a specific point further back than what you have local actually was saved in the cloud. A really, really cool feature. So let's go ahead and close this out for a second. And I want to go ahead and take a moment and go actually into our project. So here we are. This is just a room I created for a demo, and let's see which design I'd like to look at for a second. Let's look at my original samples. I have 2 designs running in this project currently. It is a level 2 project. Okay, and let's go ahead and talk about tilting objects. I've got a couple items in here. Certainly tilted objects really came into play, certainly with decorative pillows. A lot of the interior designers, it's really great that you can put a pillow in and you can certainly rotate it, and you can put multiple pillows to make a nice composition on a sofa or even in your master bedroom. It's really great. Rotating, overlapping them, allowing them to merge, took it a little bit further than that. Now you have the ability to make them look even more casual, more impromptu, and you can actually start tilting the pillows. Well, that tilt feature is not exclusive just to decorative pillows. So I would encourage you and inspire you to go ahead and try this with other assets. I haven't added another asset in here besides pillows. We actually went ahead and set over here a floor mounted mirror that we could go ahead and actually tilt and lean up against the wall. I think this would be really, really awesome. Also playing with different accessories when you're accessorizing on shelf units. But let's take a peek and show you where that tilt feature is. Certainly, you can work in 2D and we can select an item like a pillow, and we can go ahead and handle its rotation, rotating at 90 degrees or any general different angle other than 90 degrees. Yet when we go ahead and go into the 3D view of this room, we can see our pillow right there. Let's zoom in on that just a little bit. I'm using my arrow key just to go ahead and move forward a little. So yes, I have my pillow here, and if I left click in 3D, you have your options. Again, you have this really great sidebar over here on the left-hand side, which certainly allows you to go ahead and make edits to the dimension if the specific asset is allowing you to make changes to its dimensions. You can also change the raise from floor, its height and elevation. You can change the numeric rotation if you know the exact degree you want to go ahead and turn it and plan rotation. And now you have this new tab over here for tilt. Now, you also have these really great handlers over here that you can go ahead and, same idea, we can go ahead and left click on this rotation, this little round feature right here. And we can also move it orthogonally in multiple directions. And we can even change its height. So you have two different variables there. Now this new variable for tilt, how awesome. So we could go ahead, let's just rotate this so we can make this a little bit more obvious and say, maybe this exact straightforward standing up pillow is, I want to make it a little more casual. Let's let it lean back a little. So you can handle your tilt over here where we can actually start changing its tilt forward and backward. And you can even hit your plus and minus here if you wanted to make it in very small increments until you get it exactly positioned. So you have multiple ways you can go ahead and put a composition of multiple pillows of not only rotations, but you can actually start tilting them and making them look a little bit more casual and natural in their placement. So I'm just rotating that around a little bit and I'll drag my over, place that pillow right there. Now, like I said, that works really great for pillows, yet we also have a mirror over here. So I can take this mirror and do the same with it. We can go ahead and start affecting its tilt. I'm going to just go ahead and use the plus and minus over here that you can see that we can get it so it's actually standing straight up as it was originally. And then we can start going ahead and giving it a slight tilt so it's actually leaning up against the wall. And again, try this with different accessories, different books. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. I've also found that we have some features when you're working with cathedral ceilings and such. Think about those beams that maybe were preset to specific angles in the past and you just couldn't get exactly the angle for your design. Give it a shot. I think you'll have a lot of fun utilizing tilt. And let's take a look at the auto hide feature. So we've got those elements inside our room right now. So let's go outside the room and look and tour the space from the bird's eye view. Now I do have in my settings in 3D. I have my cutaway walls is turned on. So my exterior walls will be turned off as I start rotating my image. And you can see that we have items on our walls down here. We have a TV, we have fireplace, etc. So previously you would see them through your cutaway walls when you looked at from outside. But now with a new feature for cutaway walls, you can see that those items are actually turning off. I have artwork over here in the bedroom. At the head of the bed, same idea. It's like, so I want to go ahead and look through this wall, but I don't want to necessarily have the backside of these art pieces showcasing when I tour on the exterior with the cutaway walls. And now you can see that any of the items that are actually attached to those walls will actually turn off for us. So let's go back into 2D for a second. Let's hit my save button. Now, there is a new feature that just came out for round openings and actually window frames to be added to those round openings. So it's not just a round window being inserted into your wall. It's like, well, I want certain mullions, certain divisions of my glass inside my window. To give you more options, they're actually the options of those frames and windows are actually now in your asset library, much like your furniture is in your asset library. But these openings, these rounds and or arches or arched windows, window openings, can now be added as exclusive items and then incorporating those additional window styles. So I have a sliding glass door here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and maybe change this entire look. So I'm going to go back to another design that I have stored in here. And let's take a look at I called it round windows just for my demo sake. Let's go ahead and change to there. And what I did is I just took that sliding glass door and went ahead and turned it off. Just deleted that because I wanted to show you maybe something impactful. We're kind of looking out of the ocean. I thought a round window would be fun to look at kind of in that nautical sort of cruise ship sort of way. So being a little creative, let's go ahead and put a round window, a really large round window in here. And to do so, let's go back to our hammer. And inside our hammer, we certainly have our place doors. And we also have our place windows. Now within your place windows, you've got some new features down here at the bottom. you've got a half round opening for an arch. You also have a round opening, and now you also have a Palladian arched window opening. So let's classify these really as openings. Your other windows up here all have the glazing and the glass inside there, but this is kind of a new dialogue, so you have more options of mullions and divisions for your windows. So let's take the round, just for the fun of it. Let's take the round opening and punch a hole inside our wall over here. You can see in plan with the way that it's drafted that certainly with the speed of these lines and the spacing up here, that is symbolic in architecture that you have an arch of some sort. Of course, this is a full round. Now, if I select the window as you have in the past, excuse me, let me just say the word opening. I'm gonna have trouble with that. Opening instead of versus window. Let's go ahead and edit the dimensions on this. And I wanna make this like really, really big. So let's go ahead and change this out to be, I have a 10-foot high ceiling, so let's go crazy. Let's make it 8 feet by 8 feet to make round. Otherwise it would have been oval. That is a big window. I think this will be pretty obvious. Now, right now, if we go ahead and go into 3D, it's in the wrong place for sure. So we're going to go ahead and take this down. Let's go ahead and select this and make sure that we have raised from floor a little bit different. And raised from floor, yeah, for an 8-foot high window, I think we need to make this for a 10-foot high ceiling, maybe take it down to 1 foot. 1 foot from the ground to the base of it. Let's go back into 3D. Much better. Nice centered window. Looks really cool. But right now you're going to jump through the, it's an opening. You're going to fall right into that ocean. Maybe it could be fun, but probably not. Let's go ahead and actually add the glass and the mullions to that. So let's go back into 2D and show you where we find them. It's not going to be the same as going through the hammer and also going through placing windows. You're actually going to go down to your interior design tab down here. And this is where you're going to have certainly where all of your assets are stored, not just your furniture. This is all of your three-dimensional assets. And if we go in here and take a peek in all categories, and we could also look in architecture for windows. And like I said, we can go for all categories. We're actually go also, we're going to look in architecture. Now in architecture, it's a surprise. These are your new items right up here at the top, circular windows of different mullions and crosshairs inside there. So if I want to take something maybe a little nautical looking, maybe this circular window here. These are the windows. This is your glass, and this is actually your mullion structure to be inserted inside our new opening. Left click and drag and drop, much like you would, again, a piece of furniture going into your room. Now, I'm going to take this piece and make those same dimension changes on it. So let's edit the dimensions and change this out to 8 feet by 8 feet. Of course, we could tweak this if we care to, but basically we're following the same design that we just did. Now, what's really awesome with these mullions and these windows, you can go ahead and actually change the material. So let's open up this wood finish and realize that you have some brass, nickel, wood, black, oak, latte. And I'm going to go ahead and just make it white for right now, kind of matching the baseboards and trims that I have inside that room. And you can see that the image actually changes up here, so you can see the preview of what you're going to be getting. And I'm going to drag this into position. Now, I could conceivably select that item and go ahead and say the raise from floor, because we know that we made the other raise from floor 1 foot and it should match up to where we put our opening. But just for giggles, we're going to go ahead and go into 3D because we have these great new 3D handler tools, and just show you that once you're in that space going, oh, wow, I can see the two different components. You got the opening and then you've got the actual window. What's cool is that you can select the item and we can go ahead and put this into place with the 3D handlers and put it exactly where we would like it to show. And there you go. So we've got ourselves the ability now to actually build not only round windows and arched openings, Palladian style type windows, but also additional options for the different mullions and the configurations thereof, and even their materials. Pretty cool. Have a lot of fun with that for sure. Let's just see how these images came out as finals. And I think we got them up here. So this is where we were talking about how you can go ahead and tilt your pillows and obviously tilt your mirrors, which will give you a great added benefit. And you can certainly work with actually rotating and tilting your accessories. And I think we've got also the round window, which is fun. I'm not sure. Maybe in South Florida, this could be a really cool design. But it gives you that flexibility now that you can actually add those round windows and those arched windows. I hope you've enjoyed today's overview of our last and latest updates from the past month. And I look forward to sharing more with you next month as we continue to grow and offer new tools. Have a great day. Thanks.